Hard to explain the culture of TikTok if you don't get it. This video is for the people who do get it, and for the people who don't get it, maybe you'll understand it better. TikTok isn't just an app. It isn't an app just for kids. It isn't just some fun place where you make up dances. It is a place where we have built community. It's a place where our interests and the ideas that we have and how we see the world and how we think is finally supported and validated, and you're with like-minded people, where it can be sometimes hard to find in real life. I know me personally, after last night when I couldn't get on the app, I was surprised. I was sobbing. I had a huge cry, because you know what it feels like? And not to disrespect anybody who has ever served. This is a dramatic comparison, but it's the best thing I could think of. I imagine it's kind of like when you've been fighting a war and you have a team that you're fighting with, and then all of a sudden that team is gone, or you're on different teams, or you now have to fight that war alone. Because I've avoided saying this, but we are in a spiritual war, technically. Yes, we've already won, but it's still a spiritual war. And TikTok was the play, was your arm, your teammates. And now to have to do that alone. And yes, I do think the app will be back. I do. But this is the reality today, and these are the emotions that I'm feeling and that most people are feeling who are attached to TikTok. It's a place where people feel less lonely. The amount of information that we learn through TikTok, there are doctors, there are PhD students, there are specialists, there are scientists, there are philosophers, teachers, people who are certified sharing their information. Where do you get that? Where you can scroll and literally have an expert share their opinion, share their research, share their information, explain things that it might be hard for you to understand on your own. That is so special. The growth that I've had, the person who I am now versus the person who I was 4 years ago, is completely different. The wounds that I've been able to address and confront, and the spiritual awakening that I've had through TikTok, is unmatched, is invaluable. The information that I've been able to learn. I will literally be in the depths of despair, and I'll go on TikTok, and someone will say something so profound, and it'll be a breadcrumb for me to my next stage of healing, or it'll be a new framework for me to look at something that's more empowering, more freeing, more loving. I get so emotional when I think about that. The rough, dark places that I was in, that I was able to work through with grace and love and empowerment, and the connections that I've made is so fucking profound and beautiful. So it's not just an app. It's a pathway to freedom and understanding and connection that a lot of us have found. It's such a special place. And I know some people who use it, it depends on your For You page, depends on your algorithm. Some people who use it haven't found that, but it's this pulse that runs through it that is unmatched. And I mean, if you were a person who used MySpace, you can kind of get it, but it's different now, because we're grown adults taking life seriously, self-actualizing, healing, finding our careers, finding what place we want to take in the world, shedding old stories. Oh my God, it's such a place of transformation. It's such a catalyst for building this new world and this new paradigm that is happening. Whatever way you look at it, the world is changing drastically. And I choose to look at it with love. I know that some people look at it with fear, and that's the thing too. I used to look at it with fear. I used to feel very hopeless. And I'm now at a place where I can view what's happening with such love and such certainty and such empowerment because of that app. People are always saying we don't know how to organize anymore. And don't get me wrong, we could do so much better with organizing. But this is how organizing looks today. We were gaining momentum, sharing information. People were talking about tax strikes. And obviously it has to come from off of the internet into real life. But times are different than they were before. And this was just our process. And we were able to share current events and there's so many news stories, so many events that I wouldn't have known about because they weren't on the news. Like how many people passed during the flood in the Appalachian Mountains. Like that wasn't talked about. That was a huge devastation. And being able to not have to wait for news sources, but see a video from someone who lives around the corner from whatever happened and is sharing their original point of view. Like that is special. And getting just so many pieces of information where we're able to draw new conclusions and really start to get to the bottom of what's going on and talk about the lies that we've been told and just deconstructing so much of what we know. And that's part of the fear. You know, they don't want us talking and figuring out the truth. And because when you gossip, that's how you find out the tea. That's how you know what the heck is actually going on. You get different points of view. So again, I think it's gonna come back. I hope it does. If anyone from TikTok finds this, I miss y'all. I love y'all.